I know we have a fun chat for today, a little overview of things. What are we going to talk about, ladies?
We are going to give a little recap on the first quarter of the year for how Spokane did in our market and just how March ended off for the year. Yep.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome to another Monday morning update chat with Steffani and Rozella over in Spokane, Washington. I think they're in Deer Park, Washington today. However, hi ladies, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
And we are in Deer Park. Good job.
We're going to do a fun chat today. I'll let everybody know what we're going to talk about today, please.
We are going to do a recap on how the first quarter of the year went for our market here in Spokane. A little bit of what are we going to talk about a little in detail there? Average sales price, how many closed sales. We're also going to give a recap from the last 2 years in reference to what we're talking about, and then kind of where March is at, or finished at, I should say, for a total overview.
I like it. All right. Well, let's go. What you got?
All right, so let's talk about our average price first, because our average price has kind of been mellow for a while since the beginning of the year. We were kind of right around that 418, and I think it ended off right around 419. So it really didn't change much from January all the way through to the beginning of March. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Keep in mind that 419 mark was at the beginning of March. Yep. And then units closed. How were we doing on units closed? So that we kind of have seen a steady incline, if you will, from around 263 in January. And then we jumped to 330 in February. And now we're up to a whopping 450 for March.
Wow. So that spring buying season appears to be kicking in.
It is, which is normal. So in the years prior, like for reference of 2022, that was obviously kind of a wild and wonky one. But that one we had started over 400, or right at about the 400 mark. We dropped in February, and then we spiked incredibly high to over 550 in March.
Wow.
And then in 2023, we kind of thought like, oh, maybe we'll kind of level off a little bit. And we started just slightly higher than where we started this year. And then again, stayed flat actually for the move transactions, and then jumped up again to that 450 price or closed point. So very similar to last year then? Yeah, I would say we're kind of trending, I would say, more similarly to last year's trend. And we've always said this, Spokane is a very seasonal market. You wouldn't think that, but it is. People run with the seasons, whether it's springtime, people get out there, it's nice, they start shopping. And then we also regularly see typically like that July, August time when everybody's cramming in their last little bits of vacations with family and school. You feel another spike there at the end. Yep. Very
that makes sense.
Yep. So, but the price point, that's the fun one. For how March went altogether. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I know it's similar to the same as closed sales. That kind of creeps up a little bit as the weather gets nicer, buyers come back, prices kind of raise. We started out at the month of that 419 mark, and we ended the month at 450, just over 450. So that goes to show that our buyers came back in full force at the end of March. Our weather did come back really nicely. Yep. That might contribute to it. And then I know we had sellers that are listing. They know that. Can I just say houses look a lot cuter in the springtime than they do in the wintertime?
I think that's really true. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing that I would say that is attributed to is the fact that when you end up getting more people out and about with that weather, you get, and then also it's the end of, or like not end of tax season, but you're approaching the end of tax season. So a lot of people have already kind of gotten those, year's taxes filed. So they're using that for part of their pre-qualification. Money back potentially to utilize for down payment help as well. But when you see kind of that little spike, like we actually just were talking about the other day, is we're noticing multiple offers again.
So when you have those multiple
Hmm.
offers, tend to drive your price up slightly, because then at that
Yep.
when all your offers look the same, well,
You've got
what's going to be,
competition.
most appealing is, well, who's willing to pay a little bit extra? So
So even though that all sounds really great, overall, our closed sales are down about 10%. So inventories, I think, maybe plays a part in that. I could be wrong on that as well, because it looks like
active inventory is up by 14%.
Dang.
But I think it goes back to the new listing component. So a lot of the stuff that's been on the market is just, it's been sitting.
Still there. Oh yeah, because new listings is actually down 5%. So overall inventory is up from previous years, but new ones are not up. So you think it's just sitting?
Well, I think it does go back to that they've been sitting, and I think that a lot of people priced high. Like I was just talking about this with our operating professional. I don't actually know if that's his title, but anyways, he's like the head guy at our brokerage.
Oh yeah.
And he recently made
high price.
a really good reminder post to people, to try to be funny, but also to be very realistic. Like, hey, you need to hire an agent that's going to be honest with you about what you should be listing your house at, because if you're over listing it, you're not doing yourself any favors. It's sitting.
Quite true.
Yeah.
And at one point, I want to say when we looked at the year overview, so back in January, the difference, and this is kind of where I was going at the beginning of this, is what your list price to what your actual closed price was for your traditional single family homes. We saw a swing of almost $150,000, meaning people are way overpricing their homes.
They're listing high.
Did you just say that they're dropping prices by $150,000? Wow.
Average,
Is that skewed, Stephanie, because of one higher one that dropped it a lot or something like that in that number? I mean, that's a big number.
I don't think you could get a skewed from just one house doing that, because it's an overall, like that was from the entire year general average. And so again, it goes back to, we came off of a high because we were in a high market. We had lots of buyers coming off of that COVID swing, if you will. I hate to even call it that, but that's what it was. And so people were buying left and right, overpaying because they could, because the rate allowed them to. You don't see that anymore. And so people are holding steady on these values that, I mean, they're not still there. Honestly, those values are not. I've seen a dramatic drop, I would say, because
they think because the buyers have come back, I think they are under the impression, oh, the buyers are here, we're going to get some competition. What I think they're failing to remember are the buyers that are here, and they are very smart with their money right now. Buyers are not necessarily going to be throwing around as much money because the rates are a little bit higher than they were during COVID, when they had the ability to throw their money and just say, take it because I want the house. Whereas now rates, are still healthy, but they are higher than the 3% previous years that we're comparing to. Yeah. So I think their buyers are just being a lot smarter with their money. And so sellers have to be somewhat realistic that the buyers, yes, they're here. However, they're here because they've been smart.
Yeah, and rates have come down, but they haven't come down so much that people are really free and loose, like you're indicating. When we had 3% rates, people were, oh my goodness, I mean, the cost of a home is two components: the cost of the home, but also the cost of the financing. If you double the rate, the expense of that home is a lot more expensive, and people get a lot more careful then, for sure.
Well, our buyer pool had opened up to so many people that probably could have never previously potentially afforded a home. And now again, we've shifted back to that market where the people that become financially affluent or wealthy, if you will, they don't get that way from spending frivolously or overspending. Like, they're looking for the deals. They're looking for, like, okay, this is very true to what I should be purchasing, and they're not going to overpay. Right. Even if they know that there's multiple offers, they're willing to say, that's okay, I'm going to pass on this one and trust that something else is going to come along. So I think that, it's healthy, but it has made it a little bit more slower, honestly, than the years in the past. Obviously, our numbers of closed sales are kind of showing that too. But I think it's going back to kind of a more healthy market, and it's just that adjustment point. We're not fully adjusted to remembering how it's all operating. Yes.
Yeah. So, that makes sense.
We're getting back there. And then, so overall as well, we had a total of 455 closed sales at the end of March. I think I already mentioned that too. Of those, the average days on market was only 10 days. So again, that goes
Oof.
back. They're getting picked up quickly.
The
At
new
this
ones
point.
that are hitting market, you think are just coming right off.
Yeah. And we did increase because at one point we were less than a month of inventory. With active listings, we're now almost to 2 months of inventory. So that's good. We're getting back up there. We're seeing a lot of new construction coming in.
So much new construction. That's actually what caused March to spike. Is I think a third of the sales in just the month of March that closed were like new construction, new build homes. And it wasn't just one development. It was throughout Liberty Lake, Airway Heights, Deer Park. I mean, they were Indian Trail. They were scattered in a broad area in our area for new construction. So I know when those builders are still offering great incentives.
Yep.
And they have the money for the ability to buy down rates and stuff. So that just goes to show that that's kind of another hot spot for buyers right now.
And I will say most oftentimes new construction is listed a little bit higher than what your average, home that's already been. Yep. And I think that at this point with what people are seeing as well, because again, the people that have a home that they've either acquired from some sort of life happening, or they've been living in it and they're now looking to sell and upgrade, they're trying to ask that top dollar price, but without having all the bells and whistles now gone through, redone. And so a lot of these homes could use some updating, which is great. And again, that goes back to that type of buyer. You are now marketing to a certain, set of people, and those people that are looking and can do the sweat equity, well, that equity has to be in there somewhere. So that's where I think you'll see those dips of prices come off of those. But new construction, people are oftentimes willing to pay a little bit more because they want brand new and they can get it. So that's our general consensus.
That's all we got.
Pretty good overview. I like it.
We like it.
So interjection here from what I'm hearing from you, because there are multiple offers on houses now. And guys, to our viewing audience here, the expectation is 75% that the Fed will lower rates, not on the next meeting, but at their June meeting. So a couple of months from now. When that happens, they lower short-term rates. The mortgage rates are likely to follow. And when that happens, if you already have multiple offers coming in on houses and then rates start dropping, it's going to get to be a little bit busy out there for buyers buying homes. So consistent with what we've been saying on our channel here, if you want to buy, don't necessarily wait, because the rates could go down and that causes house prices to go up with those multiple offers. So if you find the right house now, be careful, as Rozella and Steffani are both saying here, but still, it's not a bad time to buy. I mean, 6-something% rates, it's not that bad comparatively. It's actually kind of a normal rate, historically speaking. We just got spoiled with those 2s and 3s, and they were good. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. Any closing statements, ladies? I'm sorry, Steffani. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That rate still is less than what, like if you're out car shopping or anything like that, they're less than what it is for automobiles. Way less than what credit card debt is, all of those things. So even to the people that aren't looking to buy, but they're looking for options because we know money's tight, I'm still going to circle back on that topic, is you're still a great resource for people to reach out to do some sort of like a blended rate
equity stuff,
or, equity, because there's equity there that they can tap into. Oftentimes we keep seeing that, but again, people are so stuck on that low rate that they don't want to move, they don't want to sell, they like it, but they need something to do. So those folks that are still out there that do watch and listen to us, I would say highly reach out to, John, get some advice on how you could do some sort of a refinance, do some cash out, maybe do those upgrades to the house, because it will make a difference when you go to resell for sure.
Absolutely.
And if you are looking to buy, the saying that we keep hearing is marry the house, not the rate.
There you go. That's right. Date the rate. That's what we say. Consistent with that, one of our sayings at our company, guys, is when does strategy beat rate? When it saves you a bunch of money over time in how you buy the house. And there's lots of ways to strategize. And Steffani and Rozella are good at that. And we love to do it here at the mortgage company. So give us a call. We're happy to chat with you about all kinds of smart ways to buy houses to potentially, as Steffani's indicating, reduce your overall expense from what you have right now.
We're here to help.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah,
Love
thank
our
you.
discussions always.
Us as well. It's fun.
All right.
Thank
Any
you.
closing statement? I keep cutting you off, Steffani. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. We're having fun in the hood.
Very good. Well, guys, give a call, send an email. Carrier Pigeon works, but it's not nearly as fast, so I try the other two first. You can always text as well. Thanks, ladies. Nice to chat with you today.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.